Look at the Forex markets for the week starting the 6th of October. This is the Euro US dollar, and this weekly chart emphasizes just what a big bear trend we've been in since the summer. This is the beginning of July here. Every single week we've gone down, except for one in the middle of September when we managed a bit of a pause. But it really is a negative picture, and it's not worth fighting the bear trend. As I've said over and over again in my daily reports, if you've been running shorts, it's been a really nice ride. There's only one hope for the bulls at the moment, and if I just scrunch up this weekly chart, you'll see where it is. There's a trend line going back to this peak in 2011, in June 2011. And if you draw this trend line, if you see this trend line here, we're just hitting it, touching it now. That's the only hope for bulls, that we are so oversold that we can get a bounce off there. I'll give you some targets if that does manage to hold, and a plan of what to do if we get a bounce off there. Obviously, if we break lower, it's just going to keep this bear trend intact, and there's no telling where this is going to end really. It's going to be a case of stick with that bear trend and don't fight it. So we've got to watch Friday's close. That's the big decider for this week. Cable also under pressure, no big surprise. We had expected that market to look under pressure, and we've now broken the 100 and 200 week moving averages. We closed right on the lows on Friday. Doesn't look good. We're below this trend line which goes back to April 2011, so it's a really longer term trend line. We had no trouble slicing through that last week. It really doesn't look positive at all. Stick with the bear trend on this one, I think. It's a dollar strength story everywhere. The Aussie managed a really nice recovery off. We bounced off the previous low for this year, which I think was set in January at 86.58. We managed a good rally off there. I thought that was going to continue, but I was wrong. This is big down day on Friday. The dollar is just so strong, you can't fight it. It looks like we're just going to continue lower. There's no point in fighting this bear trend. It's about a month old now, and it does look like it's going to continue. Dollar yen, I did think that this big candle here, this new high, and then the collapse that took out at least 2 days worth of price action on Wednesday last week was the signal to signal the end of a bull run for now at least. But that's looking unlikely. It looks like the dollar's going to continue higher. We managed to hold this really nice support level around the 108.00 area, which was as predicted pretty much. Big up day Friday. We're approaching the high for last week at the 110.08 area. Don't think it'll take an awful lot to push us through there, and we'll continue higher again. Looks like this is just a bit of a pause in a bull trend now over the last 2 or 3 weeks, so be ready for a break higher. Needless to say, that's the same picture for the dollar Canadian. We achieved our targets on Friday, so we got that rally that we were looking for. The question is now, we've got this high here, 20th of March of this year, 112.78. Friday's high 112.69, so we got to within less than 10 pips of that high. Of course, there is a risk of a big double top here, and there is a risk of a sell-off. So it is a big level, but I think we're just going to burst through it. I think this dollar's way too strong, and I don't think you can get in the way of it. But be very careful around Friday's high and this year's high. It's a major level, and of course, if we push through it, probably triggering big stops on any shorts, so we could get quite a spike higher if that does go.